dictates that I must kiss you regardless. Mwah, mwah.
Oh, Mr. LeSnook, I lost everything. I'm bankrupt.
Are you fans ready for a new round of strange and funny SpongeBob goofs and errors? Here we have some of them ready to be discovered. Number 1. Crusty Love Fester. Did you know that crabs also have feelings? This episode might be the first time that we see Mr. Krabs falling in love with someone. What are we saying? It's the first time that Mr. Krabs shows feelings for someone that's not his daughter Pearl. Anyway, let's leave those feelings aside and see some cool scenes, because this is what we're here for.
Mrs. Puff, I'd like to introduce you to my boss, Mr. Krabs.
Hello?
Mr. Krabs, say hello.
I think that longtime SpongeBob fans will know exactly what's going on here, but those who aren't experts may need to watch this scene a couple of times to know what is happening. In case you haven't found the error yet, we will show it right now. If you look at SpongeBob's teeth when he's whispering to Mr. Krabs, the trademark hole that he has between his teeth disappears. But this is not the only thing that raised our eyes during the episode. Let's continue watching.
You're spoiling me, Mr. Krabs. I mean, foot rubs between courses, caricatures, imported music.
Choosing a great outfit for a first date is really important, right? Well, for sure, Mr. Krabs was aware of this, and it led to a great animation error in this episode. For those who have great eyes, if you look carefully at Mr. Krabs' attire, there's a frame in which his suit changes to his normal clothes. This is strange since Mr. Krabs spent a long time waiting for this date, but maybe his nerves got the best of him on this one. Number 2, I'm your biggest fanatic. Who wants to enter a super cool fraternity? We know that SpongeBob has made some really good and precious friendships during the nearly 20 years that his adventures have been aired on TV. But do you remember that time when he wanted to join the Jelly Spotters? Well, in case you don't, we recommend you watch this episode because it's filled with surprises and funny moments, much like SpongeBob passing some tests, him catching big jellyfish, and many other cool moments that we want you to enjoy. So let's jump to the cool errors and moments we found here.
When I pass this test, I'll be an official jellyfish spotter.
Music.
Did you know that weather changes while you're underwater? Well, SpongeBob animators may know more things than we do, or at least this is what happens in this scene. After revisiting this moment of the episode a couple of times, we found that something strange happened here. In case you weren't able to catch it, when SpongeBob gets tied and left alone, the camera goes to the surface and we see that the sun is already falling down and the afternoon is coming, giving the sky a reddish tone. Well, some frames after, we go back to Bikini Bottom's depths, and even if SpongeBob is still tied to those posts, the sky is no longer red, so there's no afternoon underwater. This is strange because we have seen many other times that night exists in Bikini Bottom, so they should also have to go through the afternoon. Such a strange situation.
Punch yourself in the face. Doesn't that hurt you?
Do you want it to hurt me, Kevin?
That is the best!
How many fingers does SpongeBob have? Well, this question might be confusing in case you haven't ever seen SpongeBob SquarePants. In this scene, we see that SpongeBob is holding an iron boxing glove. At first, this might sound pretty normal, but things change if you take a good look at his hand. Usually, SpongeBob has 4 fingers on his hand, but when wearing this glove, he has 5 fingers instead of 4. Maybe this was also one of the trials that he had to pass to join the fraternity. Number 3, the original fry cook. Imagine that the previous person who was in charge of your job comes back one day. I'm pretty sure that some ghost from the past hit you. In this episode from the 5th season of the show, we are presented to a new character named Jim. But who is this guy? Well, in case you haven't followed SpongeBob's full series, Jim was the previous chef in the Krusty Krab's kitchen, and that causes SpongeBob some insecurity and starts to think that he's gonna lose his job. Will he be able to keep it? We left that detail for you to discover. But now, let's go watch some cool scenes.
Wow! That was amazing. Mr. Jim, sir?
Jim for sure has some secret trick up his sleeve, because look at what happens to SpongeBob in this scene. This might sound strange, but if you look at SpongeBob's eyes in this scene, one of his eyes has its eyelashes on top, while the eye is semi-open, leaving them heavily misplaced. Maybe his job isn't the only thing SpongeBob is losing on this episode.
You see, SpongeBob, you've got one quality Jim would never have. You're cheap.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
So you'll stay?
Aye, aye, Mr. Krabs.
Like we told you before, SpongeBob's job is not the only thing in danger here. This might take you some tries to catch it, but have you looked at SpongeBob's holes? Well, in case you haven't, if you take a look at SpongeBob's holes while he is laughing with Mr. Krabs, one of those holes becomes transparent for a small frame. You can even see the kitchen's walls through it. What a great comeback episode for Jim. Number 4, Le Big Switch. Did you know that SpongeBob went to a chef exchange program? Trying to expand the quality of his restaurant and bring new dishes to his restaurant's menu, Mr. Krabs has one great idea: sending SpongeBob to a chef exchange program. This would be a great experience for SpongeBob to learn new cooking techniques and cooking even better Krabby Patties. Without losing any more time, let's look at the episode.
And this! I would not wash my own bottom with this after carefully wiping and wiping and wiping. Now go, stand in the corner and think about what you have done.
We've all had a very angry boss once in our lifetimes, right? Well, poor Paco, because his boss hit him so hard that he caused an animation error. In case you missed it, when Mr. Crustacean slaps Paco twice, the cooking hat that he is wearing disappears for a brief moment. Of course, Mr. Crustacean is a very demanding boss, but he crossed the line on this one.
You sold me!
No! Bartered is more like it. They keep you, I keep my kneecaps.
Come on, Mac. You're pathetic!
Well, it seems like somebody has some problems with his eyes. Here, when the two security guards are taking Squidward out of the Krusty Krab, one of them experiences a weird change on his eyeballs. Did you find it? Well, in case you didn't, in this scene, one of the guards misses both his irises and pupils from his eyes for a couple frames. Maybe they put too much effort on sending Squidward out of the restaurant. Number 5, Bucket, Sweet Bucket. Sometimes you even have to take care of your biggest enemies. What would be a great video if we don't talk about Plankton? In case you were missing Bikini Bottom's worst villain, here is a small episode in which he is the protagonist. This episode revolves around SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward helping Plankton fix the chum bucket to see if he can change the image of his restaurant and gain some more clients. But much like always happens with Plankton, things are only made for his own interests. Let's watch it.
SpongeBob! What atrocity is this?
Oh, hi, Squidward. Looky, Mr. Plankton's having us paint. He calls it pizzazz.
Pizzazz!
SpongeBob's lashes have been the protagonist of many errors, but what is happening to them in this scene? This might be an easy one for you to find. When SpongeBob is talking on top of the chum bucket, there's a moment in which he closes his eyes, but his eyelashes stay on top of his eyes, much like they're opened. This is a pretty small error, but still one to be considered nonetheless.
Oh well, at least it's structurally sound. Forget this!
I'm sick of not having any business.
Then why don't you fix this rust bucket up? Look around.
We had Plankton as the protagonist on this one, and boy, this is a very funny error. At the beginning of the episode, Plankton is shown walking inside the chum bucket. The insides of the restaurant look very deteriorated, and this causes a door to fall on him. After the door falls, when Plankton's eyebrow disappears for a few seconds, and suddenly it comes back. Poor Plankton, he doesn't seem to have any kind of luck. Well, there you have it, SpongeBob fans. Here are some funny moments that you can find in your favorite show. Please subscribe to our channel so we can show you more of these fantastic moments. Until the next time, goodbye!